Promise y'all I'll be back. I'm back. Crazy day of college football so far, and I love it. I think that's why we like college football so much, is because it's so freaking unpredictable. Right when you think you've gotten everything figured out, you don't. Hey, if y'all hear a humming sound, it's because I have a fan. Our air doesn't work too well in our bedroom. It's separate from the rest of the house, different unit, and we just try not to run it. So, in order to stay cool, I have a fan running, so apologize. But you don't want to see you go to blue and start sweating. That's not a pretty sight. Right now, I'm watching the Arkansas Texas game. And Arkansas, man, you know what? I tried to be nice. And I took Texas, and I laid the, what was it, the 7? Yeah. Y'all are not holding up your end of the bargain, Texas. There's a reason why we do horns down. Y'all dropped the ball. Now, there's still plenty of time. About 8 minutes left in the third quarter, but you're down 23-7. What in the world? Jeez. Alright, let me get caught up on my current scores real quick. Hold on, guys. What did I do with my spread picks? Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second here. Yes, I should be more organized, but I'm not, so it is what it is. Which I had them a second ago, and, you know, things just... Oh, here we go. So, update on my spread predictions. I won the Friday night game, Kansas at Coastal Carolina. I laid the 26.5, and of course, Coastal Carolina wins by 27. That's a win. Oregon at Ohio State today. I didn't pick the upset, but I took the points, and Oregon won, so that's a win for me. Middle Tennessee and Virginia Tech. I took the 20 points, and Virginia Tech won by 21, so I lost that one. Toledo at Notre Dame. I laid the 17, and it was a nail-biter. Notre Dame by 3. Lost that one. Texas A&M at Colorado. I took the 17 points. Texas A&M won by 3, so I won that one. And then the latest one, Ball State. Well, actually, there's this other one. Sorry. Ball State at Penn State. I took the points, and Penn State beat them by more than 22.5. And then finally, Iowa at Iowa State. Iowa State was the 4.5-point favorite. I picked Iowa in the straight-up upset, and there you go. Iowa upset them. So, as of right now, I am 4-3. Okay? It's not great, but it is above 500. How do the rest of my games look? Well, this one right here, Texas and Arkansas, not so great. Arkansas up 23-7. I took Texas and I laid the 7, so that's not going to work out. It doesn't look like it. Now, beyond that, Eastern Michigan at Wisconsin. I laid the 26. Right now, in the third quarter, Wisconsin is up 27-0. So if that holds steady, I'll win that one. After that, Appalachian State at number 22, Miami. I took the 9 points, and right now, Miami is up by 2 points. And I think Appalachian State has the ball. So that one's looking good so far. And then Georgia State at North Carolina. North Carolina was a 26-point favorite. I took those 26 points, and right now at halftime, North Carolina up by 2 touchdowns. So far, so good with 1, 2, 3 games. And then 1 game not looking so good. So hopefully we'll end in a good one. And the only thing that I'm a little worried is remember that Stanford at USC? For whatever stupid reason, I decided to pick the upset. Stanford is 17-point underdog. The thing is, there's always an upset that happens that you don't see coming. But have those upsets already happened? Nobody saw Oregon beating Ohio State. A lot of people didn't see Iowa beating Iowa State. So that might have used up the upset that nobody saw coming. So that's the only thing that I'm worried about is that Stanford-USC game now. Okay, real quick. Let's go over the big things that's happened today so far. And then I'll get to the chat. Of course, the big one. Hold on, give me a second. The big one, number 12, Oregon at number 3, Ohio State. Oregon wins 35-28. This was an offensive showcase. Ohio State's defense, not good at all. Y'all need some work, some big time work. Your offense is fine, actually. You actually outgained Oregon, but your run defense is terrible. Y'all allowed way too many rushing yards. So with that loss, Ohio State's remaining schedule, really, what they wanted to accomplish this year is still in front of them. That's a tough loss to Oregon, but after that, you have Tulsa at home, Akron at home, at Rutgers, Maryland at home, at Indiana. That doesn't look like a tough road game anymore. Number 11, Penn State at home. There's your season, Ohio State. There's your season. After that, at Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan. So if you could beat Penn State at home, you could end up 11-1, go to the Big Ten championship, where you're probably going to play Iowa, and it's going to be a tough game. But, like I said, all of your goals are still in front of you. Now, for Oregon, man, nobody saw this coming, except for one person, and I'll get to that in a second. For Oregon, they beat a good Fresno State team, and I warned y'all, Fresno State is a good team, 31-24. Then they go on the road and beat number 3 Ohio State 35-28. Could be the biggest win of their entire season. Here's what they have left. Stony Brook at home. Arizona at home. Tricky-ish road game at Stanford. Then the bye week. Cal at home. At number 16 UCLA. That'll be a tough one. Colorado at home. A road trip to Washington that doesn't look tough anymore. But we'll see. Washington State at home. At number 21 Utah. That might be your season right there. And then Oregon State at home. Utah is going to be tough. Now, let's get to the contest. Only one person picked Oregon to beat Ohio State in my score prediction contest, so I didn't even have to go to the tiebreaker. Yvette, you win. Yvette picked Ohio State to lose to Oregon 27-21, so it doesn't even matter what her score prediction is. She predicted Oregon to beat Ohio State. Therefore, she is the winner. Congratulations, Yvette. You stumped us all, even me. I did not have Oregon winning. Looks like something bad just happened for Texas. My goodness, they're coming off the rails right now, guys. Let me see. I think they went for it and didn't get it. I think that's what just happened. But congratulations, Yvette. You beat everybody. Nobody picked Oregon to beat Ohio State. Good job on that. Besides that was the biggest one, but besides that, the Iowa State game. Number 10 Iowa goes into Ames, Iowa. Number 9 in Iowa State. Ames, Iowa, home of Iowa State. Number 9 in the nation, and they beat them. Iowa knows how to go into Ames and beat them. Not pretty much everybody else doesn't know how to do that, but Iowa does, and I predicted the upset. That's what happened. So for Iowa, right off the bat, a home game against number 17 Indiana, whooped them 34-6. Then they go on the road to number 9 Iowa State. I would call it a whooping. I know they only beat them by 10, but they controlled that game. Here's what they have left. Kent State at home, Colorado State at home, at Maryland, number 11 Penn State at home. There's your season. Purdue at home, bye week. I thought at number 18 Wisconsin was going to be tough. Penn State's like, no, here's how you do it. I think they'll take care of that. At Northwestern, Minnesota at home, Illinois home, at Nebraska. So your season, Iowa, will come down to a showdown against number 11 Penn State at home. Could Iowa State be staring down the barrel of an undefeated season? Maybe. For Iowa State, all of their goals from the preseason are still in front of them. They beat Northern Iowa 16-10. They did lose to number 10 Iowa 27-17. Iowa's just a bad matchup for them. After that, a road trip to UNLV, a road trip to Baylor, home game against Kansas, then their bye week, a tricky road trip to Kansas State, Oklahoma State at home, tricky road game to West Virginia. Then they get number 15 Texas at home, at Texas Tech, at number 4 Oklahoma. That's your big game, and TCU at home. So I think Iowa State gets to 10 wins, but do they pick up another loss or 2 losses and not get to 10 wins? Because we all think they will lose to number 4 Oklahoma. What if they trip up somewhere else? They got to pick themselves up and make sure this doesn't affect them. So I've briefly talked about Penn State. Today, they beat a good Ball State 44-13, and they covered, much to my chagrin because I took the points. So far, they've gone on the road, beat number 12 Wisconsin convincingly 16-10, 2 goal line stands. They beat a good Ball State team at home 44-13. Next up, number 25 Auburn. That will be a test. If they can get by Auburn, they are sitting pretty. After that, a home game against Villanova, a home game against Indiana, at number 10 Iowa. That is the showdown. And it probably will be a top 10 matchup if Penn State beats Auburn. After that, a bye week. Then Illinois at home. Then at number 3, Ohio State. Oregon's like, hey, here's how you go on the road and beat Ohio State. They have a bad defense. Have a good offense, and you'll beat them. And Penn State has a pretty good defense, too. At Maryland, Michigan at home, Rutgers at home, at Michigan State. So really, 2 really tough road trips stand in the way of Penn State having an undefeated season. But if they beat number 25 Auburn, my prediction of Penn State having a 10-win season is going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think it does happen. Moving on to West Virginia's next game. Number 19, Virginia Tech. Now, side story, West Virginia took care of business today. Whooped Long Island like they should have, 66-0. And Garrett Green, Neil Brown, head coach, listen to me. Put him in. Go back and look at the glory days of West Virginia. Go watch some film on Pat White. Add a few wrinkles here and there. He keeps the defense honest with that running game. It adds an extra wrinkle. We need to start Garrett Green. Need to. Back to Virginia Tech. So they get the home win against number 10 North Carolina, 17-10. How good is North Carolina? People forget North Carolina lost a ton of talent from last year, including their 2 running backs, both 1,000-yard rushers from last year. And then today, took care of Middle Tennessee 35-14. Next week, a road trip to West Virginia. I'll be there in Morgantown. I will do a live show there. A couple videos. That's going to be exciting. So keep your eyes on that. After that, Richmond at home, the bye week. Number 8, Notre Dame at home. I think Virginia Tech can beat Notre Dame. I really do. Notre Dame does not look good at all, and Virginia Tech has looked pretty sharp. Then they get Pitt at home. Then they get Syracuse at home. 4 of their last 5 games are on the road. Who made this schedule? This is horrific. At Georgia Tech, at Boston College, your 1 home game against Duke, at number 22 Miami, and at Virginia. 3 of those road trips are really, really tough. Boston College is going to be good. Miami, good. Not elite, but good. And Virginia is my bounce-back team in the Coastal. So, I still think Virginia Tech has the chance of going that 8-4, 7-5, just because of that backloaded schedule. And the road trip to West Virginia next week, which I will be there. Moving on real quick before we get into the call-ins. Let's see. Did I talk about Auburn? No, I don't think I talked about Auburn. Auburn's looked surprisingly good, especially for a new coach. First game 60-10. Today 62-0. Yes, they played nobodies, but they looked pretty good. Next game, road trip to number 11 Penn State. There's your test right there. I think Penn State gets it done, but it's going to be a good game. After that, Georgia State at home, at LSU. Could be tricky. Number 2 Georgia at home. Auburn could play spoiler. I'm telling you, Auburn looks pretty good. And it is very tough to get a win at Jordan-Hare, and Georgia hates playing there. After that, at Arkansas. Arkansas, going to be tough. They're whooping Texas right now. Then the bye week. Then a home game against number 25, Ole Miss. Then at number 5, Texas A&M. Mississippi State at home. At South Carolina. Then you end the year at number 1, Alabama. I think Auburn ends the year with at least 3 losses. I still see an 8-4 team. They looked better than what I thought they would. At number 11, Penn State. Number 2, Georgia at home. Number 20, Ole Miss at home. At number 5, Texas A&M. Number 1, Alabama. There's 3 losses at least in there. So, yeah, there you go. Don't forget, guys, hit the like button. That's easy. It's free. It's not to pat my back, not to give me a big head, stroke my ego. It just helps with the algorithm to get this thing suggested more so more people can come in. That's all. It's easy, it's free, it's quick. Hey, if you want to hit the thumbs down because you don't like me, that helps as well. Also, don't forget about the super chat option. It's that little $sign you see down there beside the comment. All you do, hit that, leave whatever comment you in there, and that helps contribute to the show because I'm getting close to where I can do this full time, and that is my goal, to do this YouTube channel full time. So I can upgrade some stuff that I need to upgrade as well. That's much needed. I need a soundboard. I need to upgrade my lighting, and a nicer camera would be nice. I'm making things work, especially for a one-man show. I research, write, edit, produce, and promote all by myself. Just me. Now, I have Joey, my sponsor. He helps me get guests. He's helped me with the mods. Great help. But as far as actually producing the show, it's me, myself, and I. Thank you, Yvette, the person that won the contest. $2, or Joey. Sorry, I thought I saw Yvette. My bad. Joey with the $2 super chat. I laughed at Yvette for choosing Oregon. Wrong. Yeah, you shouldn't have laughed at her because that's exactly what happened. But thanks for the $2 super chat. Every little bit helps. All right, so let me take a quick glance at this game, and it's 26-7, but I'm seeing some celebration. I haven't been paying attention. What happened, guys? All right, anyways, y'all can start calling in whenever you want. Phone lines are open. I'm going to try to turn the fan a little bit so it's not in y'all's ear. That way I can still feel it, but it's not on the mic. That's the goal here. You're on with Going to Blue, dude?
Hey, man, it's Sam with the Mountaineer Effect. How's it going?
Pretty good, bud. How are you? Hey, let me adjust my mic real quick so I don't... I use the phone to mic, so I don't want people to see your number. All right, you're good.
Just wanted to pop in for a minute, talk about West Virginia.
Touchdown, Arkansas. Wow. 34-7.
Texas is really going to love being in the SEC.
Holy cripes. Welcome to the SEC, Texas. My goodness. Go ahead, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man. I just want to talk a little bit about West Virginia. You know, any day you get to hear Country Roads is a good day, but...
Oh, yeah.
You know, Long Island University, it was, in my opinion, shouldn't even been on the schedule. There was such a clear difference in talent between the two teams that I'm not sold on Green's ability against Tech. I agree, we do need a change, but I think what you'll see out of Neil Brown next week is he'll probably start Daggy, and if things get out of hand quick or things are a little suspect with him, you'll see a change.
Yes, I agree with that. That's exactly what's going to happen.
You know, all in all, the defense looked okay. Offense looked okay. Special teams are killing it.
Man, special teams is a pleasant surprise. People are going to have to plan for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think for me today, the biggest takeaway, the biggest disappointment today for me was Lenny Brown.
Yeah, I think he had a hangover from the Maryland game. He needs to get his confidence back.
Yeah, he must have, because man, he just didn't seem like he could get it going. You know, when you're playing, you know, a team that's with their second year of D1. I mean, you should be running through those D linemen, and he just, I don't know, just didn't seem to get it done today. So I was a little disappointed there. But
yeah,
you know, all in all, they won. They took care of business. That's all that matters. But you know,
that's true.
I'm anxious for the Virginia Tech game. I think it's probably going to be your game of the week. I think it's going to be a dogfight.
I'm going to be there too. I'm pretty excited.
Man, if I could get tickets, I'd go.
Hey, you can just come and hang out, man.
Well, you never know. I may do it, but...
well, if you do, make sure to holler at me.
I sure will, man. I just wanted to call in and talk just a minute. You know, there's, like I said, not a whole lot to talk about, all in all. You know, I am happy for Long Island University. I mean, they made 1/5 of the revenue for the year. So
exactly. People don't realize that it's important. Even though they get blasted, it is very important to those lower tier schools.
Yeah, I mean they made almost $500,000 to play West Virginia. Their yearly revenue is about $2.5 million. Stadium holds about 5,000 people. So
Yep.
With it being their second year in D1, I mean, that's been really big for them. That's what I had to tell myself to get through the game. But
Yep.
all in all, a win's a win. We'll take it on to the next one.
I agree with that. And I don't think Virginia Tech is as good as people think. They beat a good North Carolina team, but how good is North Carolina? I mean, Ty Chandler obviously is not good as the two running backs that they lost, and Sam Howell is off, man. It's not like Virginia Tech put up 30 or 40 on them, I think in West Virginia can put up more than 30 points on Virginia Tech, we have the win.
I agree totally with that. I've talked to a couple of my friends that are Tech fans, through the first half of the game with Middle Tennessee today, they looked terrible.
Yep, they did.
And
fortunately for them, depth was on their side.
For sure. UNC was overrated, and I think that was just a game for Virginia Tech for this exact situation to happen. But you take the first half of Middle Tennessee and you apply it to West Virginia, they better play better than that, or they're gonna be in trouble.
I think West Virginia comes out fired up. I think we get the win for sure.
Yep, I agree. I'm saying West Virginia by 10.
Yeah,
So,
I like it.
all right, brother. You have a good night. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem, man. Call in anytime.
Thank you, buddy. Later.
All right, bye. Good job on that phone call. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I do think that we could have a little bit of an evaluation on Garrett Green. I know it was against LIU, but his decision making is pretty stinking good. When he makes up his mind to tuck it and go, he tucks it and go. He doesn't dance around and make sure that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. He's going to do it. When he wants to pass, that's what he wants to do, and he does it. Man, this bloodbath, Arkansas, 33-6. Who saw that coming? My good friend D4 is a Texas fan. Man, I feel bad. I legitimately feel bad for you. I'm actually mad at Texas because I picked Texas and I laid the 7, and you guys just screwed me. Unless a miracle fourth quarter thing happens, it's not happening. And they absolutely need to score right now, like right this second. If not, it's over. And even if they score now, it's still a long trip. But we'll see. Pitt beat Tennessee, just like I predicted. I knew that was going to happen. But it was closer than it should have been. I mean, y'all should have blown Tennessee out by at least 20. Come on, Pitt. What are y'all doing over there? I know Neyland Stadium was packed out and, hostile road environment, but Tennessee is trash, guys. Y'all should have beat them like a drum. I'm doing a quick check on my spreads again real quick. Give me a second, guys. Let's see how we're doing. Well, Texas, Arkansas not doing well at all. Third quarter, Miami is up 19-17. It's about to go into the fourth quarter, and Miami has the ball on the Appalachian 34. I can afford them scoring another touchdown, but I need App State to stop it right there. Just stop it right there. Don't let it get inflated, because I took the 9. Georgia State, North Carolina still looking pretty good. Georgia State down by 14, and I took the 26. You're on with Golden Blue, dude.
Hey, Golden Blue dude, this is Joey.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Same old. Another great college football Saturday with packed stadiums.
Oh, yeah, sit there and watch games all day.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to call in about the expansion, the Big 12 expansion, and the 4 teams coming in.
All right.
BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. I was watching. I love Mark Rogers. I mean, I watch him all the time, but he said something on his show about the 4 teams coming in. He said So in other words, we've got 4 West Virginias, 4 mediocre teams. I don't know where he gets that from. Because of the 4 teams coming in, West Virginia has played them a combined 23 times. And they have 3 victories against West Virginia between the 4 teams.
Well, here's the thing. People have short memories, okay? So he's going by West Virginia's performance over the past decade. If that's the case, he's right. He's absolutely right. But people are associating West Virginia with what we did under Dana Holgorsen. Y'all have to flush that. That's not West Virginia football. And I know, last year was a step ahead for West Virginia. We lost to Maryland. That sucks. We're rebuilding, and we're headed in the right direction. West Virginia is a really good football program. Only one of 3 to have top 20 wins in both football and basketball, right up there with Texas and Notre Dame. So I believe he's referencing to, what's happened over the past decade, and that I can understand. We haven't done well in the Big 12. We have not done well in the Big 12.
I think one thing, and I mean this is just a huge thing when it comes to college football, and every coach will tell you, it's culture.
Yeah.
The culture has to change. And, Dana Holgorsen just didn't have a good culture up there at West Virginia.
Look what he's doing at Houston.
Right. And so the culture is having to be changed and rebuilt and done again. And that will increase because, the same thing happened at Michigan, according to Rich Rodriguez. The culture wasn't right, when he got there. He just couldn't win trying to change culture.
Yeah.
I'm a pure believer of culture, that the culture has to be right in order for a football team to win. And I think that's why a lot of teams that are maybe had consistently won through the 2000s or even the 90s, and they're losing now, is because of the culture that their program has.
Yes.
It's not necessarily the coaching, the coaching, yes, because that has a lot to do with the culture, but the coaching, if there's a new coaching staff, you got to give them time. Neil Brown, I had people yesterday, in a chat room. I was talking to them, and they were like, we got to get rid of Neil Brown. He's got to go. Well,
that's dumb. That's a knee-jerk reaction. That's a dumb comment.
This is Neil Brown's really second year.
Yeah.
2019 was year 0. He had nothing to work with.
Yeah.
In 20 we had COVID, so and now here we are. It's really his first season overall, really, if you want to think about it. But it's his second one, is what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
And so you got to give the man time. He's not going to jump in there and just.
Well, and plus, our 2022 recruiting class is a top 25 recruiting class. First time since before Holgorsen was our head coach.
Right. I'm really excited about that, and I'm, with all the conference realignment, I was afraid those recruits were going to start sticking, bailing out on us, but they didn't. They stuck around.
Did you see that Texas receiver flat out dropped? Well, tight end, he flat out dropped it. Wow. I'm trying to do 2 things at the same time. So I'll fill you in when something stupid happens.
Arkansas was beating the crap out of Texas, though, right?
Yeah, and they just late hit the quarterback though.
Yeah.
That was definitely unnecessary.
I was chatting in your earlier live show with Chalkus Pitt about it. I told him that I'm wanting to come up to the Pitt game next year with you and go to the game.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Pitt, I just don't. They should have struggled against Tennessee today, so I'm kind of worried about them.
Yeah.
I really thought they were going to have a really good year. And
I think they will.
They could have had a down day.
You know what? I think they can beat both Miami and North Carolina now. They get both those teams at home. I think they're capable of doing it. I think they have a solid chance of having a 10-win season if they slip up somewhere else. A loss to Clemson and one slip up somewhere else, and still beat Miami and North Carolina.
Right. I had Pitt going 8-4, maybe 9-3. I think they'll go 9-3, maybe 10-2 now. Yeah.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
I agree with that.
Now next year, when they play West Virginia, I think Pitt loses a lot of players this year. So.
Yeah. Namely Kenny Pickett, their quarterback.
Right. But it'll still be a good game. They're
Oh yeah.
always good.
Definitely.
All right, man. I'll let somebody else call in.
Touchdown, Texas.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about these conference realignments. I mean, these teams, Cincinnati. I saw somebody the other day too. They said Cincinnati looks forward to beating West Virginia again.
What?
And I was like, well, they've won 3 games. They played 20 times and they've won 3 games.
Yeah, that's a dumb comment.
So I can't figure them out. But anyway, all right, man. Well, take care.
All right, bud. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, and Cincinnati is going to be losing a lot of their talent. Cincinnati is one of those teams where they have to build and build and build, and then it comes together in maybe 1 or 2 magical seasons, and then they got to restart. And they're going to lose a lot of that experience and a lot of that talent over the next couple of years. So don't count your chickens before they've hatched. That's not a good mindset to have. Eastern Michigan at Wisconsin. We're still good on that one. I laid the 26. Last time I checked, Wisconsin's still up 27-0. So if that holds steady, we're good. Miami has the ball on the Appalachian State. Dadgum, they're going backwards. Fourth and 23. They might be out of field goal range now. They were in field goal range. And now they're on the Appalachian State 41. That would be like a 56, 57-yard field goal. So, not good, Miami. Not good. Miami might be in for a rough season. Man. I didn't pick Appalachian State in the straight-up upset, but I did take the 9 points. So, that's looking good so far. Texas just scored a touchdown. So it's 33-14. Let's see. Wisconsin's still up 27-0. They got a 1st and 10 on the Eastern Michigan 12. So that could give me a little bit more cushion. North Carolina's still up 24-10 in the 3rd quarter. They had the ball 2nd and 13 on their own 34. And then I think the others don't play until later on. And that's going to be Utah at BYU. I laid the 7. Utah, the 7-point favorite. I laid the 7. And then, I'm not liking this now. Stanford at number 14, USC. The line is now at 17.5. And I picked Stanford for the upset. I just had this feeling that it could be that upset that nobody saw coming. But Oregon upset Ohio State, and nobody saw that one coming. So, I might have already used that up. So, yeah, that one might be a loss. But hopefully, I can at least win the North Carolina, Wisconsin, Miami, and Utah, and we would be doing good. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. One game, where is it? One game that has become especially interesting after these first 2 weeks. And that's week number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Week number 6. I don't know where they'll be ranked, but right now it's number 8 Notre Dame going to be on the road to number 19 Virginia Tech. Here's the thing with Notre Dame. They pulled this crap that they're doing right now last year. What I mean is they look bad at the beginning of the year. Last year, it was that game against Louisville. I think they beat them like 12-7, something like that. Louisville was a terrible team, and I was like, man, if you can only put up that many points and barely beat Louisville, you're in for a bad season. What happened? They turned it around and ended up getting to the playoffs. Could they do it again this year? Yeah, but their defense has to be much better. That's one thing that they had going for them last year. Even when their offense was struggling, their defense was a top 10 defense. This year, they don't have that to fall back on. Their offensive line looks terrible. Their quarterback looks indecisive. They do have a decent running game, and their defense is nowhere to be found right now. It's not looking good for Notre Dame right now. Can they get it back together? We'll see if they actually had it together at one point. I don't know. Let me look at... I gotta mark my rankings real quick, guys. Those are my rankings. I need the real rankings. There's so many things that are right now that sometimes it's not right in front of me, so y'all just bear with me just for a quick second. I wrote down the AP Top 25 somewhere. I don't have a great memory, so I can't memorize stuff like that. Where did it go, though? I know I had it somewhere. It's probably in my notebook. At least you know I'm human, right? Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Alright. So, as far as the AP Top 25, Coastal Carolina number 17, they won, and they more than covered against Kansas. And if you picked the points, or God forbid, pick Kansas to win that game, you probably shouldn't be picking college football, because to me that was easy. I know they only won about half a point, but still it was a no-brainer to me. Let's see. Okay, Alabama won. Alabama must have had their third string in the second half, because they only beat Mercer 48-14. Georgia spanked the ever-living snot out of UAB, but they allowed them to score a touchdown. 56-7. Ohio State lost. The reason I'm doing this, guys, is I'm trying to figure out the movement of the next AP Top 25. I know it's pretty much impossible, but you can at least give an educated guess. Notre Dame won. Iowa won. Iowa State will drop out of the top 10. I do know that for sure. Penn State will get ranked in the top 10. Oregon will be a top 10 team this week, for sure. Let's see. Florida did win. They'll probably stay exactly the same. And Virginia Tech, where are they at? Right there. And Auburn. Okay, Auburn. I can admit it. I think I underestimated Auburn. I definitely underestimated Auburn and Virginia Tech so far. Cincinnati won. All right, let me see. Did Oklahoma? I think Oklahoma played. They're winning. Oh, they won 62-0 right now in the third. So that's a win. After that, so Texas is losing. Wisconsin. Oh, come on. Wisconsin allowed Eastern Michigan to score. It's 26-7. Y'all have to score a touchdown to cover now. Miami on the ropes. Ole Miss will smack Austin Peay. I'm counting that as a win. Lopsided win. Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, A&M, Clemson. I think I have them all. Utah, they're playing tonight. USC playing right now. Texas playing, but losing. And Arizona State playing. Miami's playing, but barely. Or winning, but barely. And North Carolina's playing, but winning. Okay, I think I have this. I think I have it down, guys. Wisconsin. I think I'm just gonna count that as a win. Yeah, that's a win. Even if they don't cover, that's still a win. And did UCLA play today? It's the only one. I don't think they did, and I don't think they do. Yeah, UCLA actually has 2 bye weeks, and I think today was their first bye week. And now North Carolina's up by 21. What was the line on that? I think it was 22. Dadgummit. I know I wrote that down. Oh, it was 26, so we're still okay. We're still okay in that. All right, so here we go. Number 1, Alabama, of course, they're going to stay. Number 2, Georgia, they're good. Number 3, Ohio State. Where do they fall to? Well, I think I'm trying to see who's going to jump the most. Oklahoma will jump up to 3. Texas A&M to 5. Clemson to... Or Texas A&M to 4. Clemson to 5. Clemson might jump Texas A&M because Texas A&M barely beat Colorado. So I'm going to say Clemson 4, Texas A&M 5, Cincinnati 6, and then Iowa number 7 because Notre Dame barely beat a bad Toledo. And then I'm going to say Penn State number 8, and then number 9 Notre Dame. And number 10 will be Oregon. No, I'm going to put number 9 as Oregon. And Notre Dame will fall to 10. So, let me write this over here real quick. This is just the top 10 because the rest has yet to be decided. So, Alabama 1, Georgia 2. I'm going to say... Who should be number 3? I'll just bump Oklahoma up to number 3. And this is where it gets tricky because Texas A&M barely beat Colorado. So I'm gonna put I think they bumped Clemson back up to number 4. I just have a feeling. And then after that, I think number 5 is where Iowa falls or jumps to, and then Penn State jumps up to 6. And then Oregon jumps up to 7. And then Texas A&M falls to number 8. I'm liking this so far. They'll probably make Cincinnati fall. I don't like it, but Cincinnati falls to number 9. Then number 10, that's where Ohio State falls to. Did I get everybody? Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Clemson, Cincinnati. Oh, Notre Dame. Oh, crap. So, the 10 spot's going to be a toss-up between Notre Dame and Ohio State. I think they give... Man, does Ohio State fall out of the top 10? I'm going to say they do. I'm going to give number 10 to Notre Dame because they did win. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Okay, so Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma jumps 1. Clemson jumps to 4. Iowa jumps to 5. Penn State right behind them. You know what? I'm going to say... Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Oregon to 7. Cincinnati and Texas A&M switch. I like that better. Bear with me, guys. And then Texas A&M. There we go. All right. And then I have Ohio State falling to number 11. It is what it is. I have to be missing a team now. Who am I missing? Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Clemson, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Iowa State. Well, I'm good with them being out. They fall big time. So, Florida will jump to 12. After that, I'm not touching it. So, top 12. Here we go. Alabama, number 1. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Oklahoma. They won. That's all that matters. Dismantled. Clemson bounces back there at number 4. Remember, losing to Georgia not a bad loss and only by 7 points. So they will give Clemson the benefit of the doubt. Iowa to number 5. Only because they're already ranked ahead of Oregon, and they also went on the road and beat a top 10 team. Okay. Same thing with Penn State, already ahead of Oregon, and last week they beat a top 15 team. So Iowa at number 5, Penn State at number 6, 7 Oregon, 8 Cincinnati falls a spot, 9 Texas A&M falls 3 spots, 10 Notre Dame falls 2 spots, Ohio State 11 they fall 9 spots, and Florida jumps 1 spot to number 12. So that's my top 12 for right now. Let's see. I'm sure y'all have some opinions on that. Give me 1 second. Miami made a field goal. I think we're still good on the spread then, if that's the case. Let's see. Looks like, yeah, 22 to 17. So that's 5 points. So if App State can just hold them to a field goal, even if App State doesn't score anymore, we're good because that would only be an 8-point win. Now I would be okay with that. I think. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 8-point win. Had to do my math right there. North Carolina looks like they're about to score. Come on, Georgia State. Play some defense, man. I'm trying to have an awesome week on my spread picks. I'm doing okay, but I want to have an awesome week. I don't like just being above 500. A lot of people would be okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Arkansas, 40-14 with 8 minutes left against Texas. That's definitely a loss. I gotta mark that down as a loss. Man, where does Texas fall and does Arkansas become ranked? I didn't even think about that. I guarantee Texas falls big time. Out of the top 25, LSU fell out of the top 25 at number 16 to UCLA. It's possible, guys. It is definitely possible. Yikes! And LSU didn't get smashed like Texas is getting smashed. So that's two different scenarios. Let me check the score of the. Hold on. The score of the Washington-Michigan game. Michigan up 10-0 at halftime. Riveting game right there. Still a good win for Michigan. Does Michigan get ranked? They beat a top-tier MAC team. Not a top-tier team in the nation, but in the MAC, Western Michigan is one of the best in the MAC this year. And if they blank Washington, even if it's only like 20 or 23-0, is that enough for Michigan to get ranked? I would have them ranked if they beat Washington, especially if they hold them to 0 points. If they beat Washington by 2 possessions, Michigan should get ranked. I'm not saying Washington's an awesome team, but yeah, Jeff, you can call in if you got the number. For those of y'all that don't have the call-in number, all you have to do is email, and Joey or one of my mods will leave the email real quick. You'll email and tell them your name and your number. Once you do that, they will email you back and give you the number to the call-in show. That's how you do it. They'll leave the email in the chat. Mods, I need y'all to leave the email in the chat. So y'all email me name, number you're calling from. That way I recognize you on the phone. Once you send that information, then they will send you the call-in number. And that's how you get the call-in number for Golden Bluted. That helps with the troll situation. Because when I first started doing my call-in show and I gave it out over the video, trolls. I mean, they tried to wreck the show. There's the email account where you send your information to. Sorry guys, checking something real quick. Alright. I don't know where Texas goes from here. For the season, this is what I pretty much predicted. I should have stuck with it. Because when I did my season predictions, I predicted Texas to lose to Arkansas. But the thing is, I also predicted them to lose to Louisiana, and that didn't happen. So, I'm trying to... Dadgummit. There we go. It wouldn't allow me to answer, but I finally got it.
Oh, nice.
You watching this Arkansas game? This is crazy.
Did you hear the newest news out of Texas?
No.
The officials had a meeting and they said that if Arkansas is the 7th or 8th team in the league, they're going to stay in the Big 12.
Okay. That sounds fair to me. Sounds fair to me.
I don't know.
I mean, think about it. The only reason Texas is going to the SEC is because... Let me back up. People contradict themselves, okay? They shouldn't let West Virginia in because y'all couldn't even beat Maryland. What you do in games as far as this year has nothing to do with anything. Do you think they're going to change their mind because Texas gets obliterated by Arkansas? No, it's because Texas makes money and they have a big brand. That's it. People like to talk out of both sides of their mouth, you know?
Yeah, but I do think, though, you give next a year or two after Stark gets his players in there, it's going to be a lot different team.
Yeah, I do. But the thing is, how competitive will they be in the SEC? If they were to stay in the Big 12, Texas could be a powerhouse once he gets his players in. Can they be a powerhouse in the SEC?
See, I think Oklahoma has the possibility of being a powerhouse.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. They're already established. They're already recruiting at a high level. They don't have any catch-up to be playing.
Oklahoma just needs a little bit better defensive line and linebackers.
Yeah. I agree. They have a good running game, but their passing game has never been great. Texas has always had a decent running game, and they're supposed to have one of the best in the nation this year with Bijan Robinson.
And I'll tell you another thing I found out today is I got to apologize to the Pac-12.
Oh, man, you too.
Ohio State and Colorado laying into Texas A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M come back and won. But that's still a victory in my book for Colorado.
And then last week, UCLA beat LSU.
Yeah.
And LSU was supposed to have a big bounce back year this year. I don't know where everybody saw it. They went 5-5 last year. Y'all are expecting LSU to catch lightning in a bottle every other year? Like, is that the new sentiment towards LSU? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
LSU is, they're kind of like Auburn. They have a great year, and then they kind of get a lull for 2 or 3 years, and then they come back and kind of great team.
I would say 5 years. I would say 5 years.
And I don't think Orgeron is the answer in LSU. I'll tell you what, I really believe that if LSU put money and bought Lane to come out, I think they can challenge right away.
That's a good take right there. I like it. I think Ed Orgeron bought himself some time with that impressive 2019. He is the 3rd highest paid coach in college football. What are you thinking, LSU? I know 2019 was an amazing year, but it was 1 year. You don't reward based off of 1 year. That's insane.
Exactly. No, I agree. But if you put Lane Kiffin there, look at what Lane Kiffin's doing. And if you go to LSU is with Oklahoma and Ohio State and Alabama. They have recruits that they can recruit at a high level.
Yes. And, with Miami, with their offensive struggles, you know who I think would be a great fit for the U? Tom Herman. Here's why. Miami recruits on that swag standard, right? Like, that's their brand. Swag, people don't like it. That's okay. That is how they recruit. That's how they get those high-level athletes with the attitude. Tom Herman has that attitude, and he recruits at a high level. I think it would be a perfect combination for the U if they brought in Tom Herman.
Yeah, Tom Herman would be wonderful.
Yeah. Arkansas is stonewalling Texas right now, by the way. Say it again.
I think right now the ACC is kind of a mess.
It is. And, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. So, whenever I've been reporting that West Virginia and the ACC have been talking, and West Virginia is going to the ACC. I don't know when the announcement is and the voting and all that stuff. People are like, that's crazy. West Virginia doesn't bring anything to the table, and the ACC doesn't want West Virginia. Yes, they do. The ACC is in trouble right now. If they don't do something, they are in danger of getting passed up, and in danger of either the Big Ten or the SEC picking off, say, a Florida State and a Clemson, Miami, whoever, some of your bigger brands. So you need to add teams. No, West Virginia isn't like a Texas or an Oklahoma, but they definitely help the ACC in particular. They're a strong brand. They're not elite like Texas or Oklahoma, but they are a strong brand, and they will bring eyeballs, ticket sales to those rivalry games, like to Pitt, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Boston College, Louisville, Miami, and they'll make rivalries with all those other teams in the ACC.
Oh, I agree. The ACC, like you said, they're gonna die in 5 to 10 years if they don't do something.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
And in a way, I want West Virginia to go to the ACC. And I know the Big 12 was on life support. And I know that the 4 teams they brought might not be the greatest. But I'll tell you what, they're almost the 3rd best conference right now.
I get why people would say that, but I would still put them behind definitely the SEC, definitely the Big Ten, definitely the ACC, maybe the Pac-12, or vice versa. No, maybe right with the ACC right now, and under the Pac-12, because for this particular year, the Pac-12 looks really good. Now, in general, maybe flip-flop the ACC and the Pac-12. But for this year, I would say the Pac-12 is doing very, very well. But in general, as far as name recognition, brand, I would still have the new Big 12 at the bottom. I really would. West Virginia going to the ACC would immediately make that a better conference. Definitely better than this new Big 12, and definitely better than the Pac-12, even as well as they're doing this year, because of all the reasons that I mentioned earlier. People want to focus on the success that Cincinnati and UCF have had, and the brand of BYU and the success that they had last year. But you also have to remember that they've had success in Group of Fives. Cincinnati had a taste of a Power 5 conference in the Big East, and they did okay. They weren't great. They did okay. They have a 40,000 seat stadium. Houston has a 40,000 seat stadium, and they just built a new stadium. UCF has a 40,000 seat stadium. I know they can expand. Out of those 3, I'd say UCF is the best brand. And then there's BYU, who does have a 60,000 seat stadium. I think BYU definitely helps 100%. But I'm not sold on UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston. Now, if Oklahoma and Texas were still in the Big 12, that would be a different story. Completely different story. That's why I think the Big 12 should have added these teams way back when. But instead, they waited until bad things happened, and then they add these 4 teams. And to me, they don't really move the needle all that much. They really don't.
Right, and that's one reason. I lived in Iowa. I followed the Hawkeyes. I followed Iowa State. And Oldby is a great guy, but he's not proactive. He's too reactive.
Yes.
He should have went out and beat the league and beat 12 teams as soon as Texas A&M and Missouri bailed on it.
Yeah.
They should have went to 12 right then and there.
They lost 4 and gained 2. The math doesn't add up.
Yeah. No. And then you look at the Big Ten this year. I truly believe that if Iowa don't go undefeated, or Penn State, if those two don't play in the championship, undefeated, 1 win. I don't know if the Big Ten gets a team in the playoffs this year.
Well, the only pushback that I would give on that is if number one, the winner of the Iowa-Penn State game wins out. And Ohio State is a strong enough brand where if they win out and win the Big Ten championship, I think they would get put in as long as, there weren't three other undefeated conference champions.
Well, see, what kind of worries me is what happens if Alabama wins out and goes to the SEC championship, Georgia wins out and goes to the SEC championship, and one of us loses by a field.
Yeah. It's happened before.
If I missed a field goal, and Clemson now went down from the ACC, Georgia beat them heads up, does that put 2 wins from the SEC? And
yeah.
Then you got to give it to Oregon if they win out.
Yeah.
Just Oklahoma wins out.
Yeah. My big question is, what if the winner of Iowa State, Penn State wins out? Undefeated. Big Ten champs, right? Oregon, let's say Oregon or USC. They win out, undefeated Pac-12 champs. Alabama runs the table, undefeated SEC champs, right? So there's 3 undefeated conference champions. Oklahoma runs the table, Big 12 champs, undefeated. All right, so that's 4 right there. Clemson runs the table, ACC champs, 1 loss. And then there's Georgia. They run the table, get to the SEC championship, lose to Alabama in a very close game. I'll say a 1-point game. Okay? Who gets in?
Right. Well, then they have the crazy scenario. What if Notre Dame? I know they got lucky today because of Eli, but what if they go undefeated somehow?
I think Notre Dame would be out of the equation if there were 4 undefeated conference champions. I think the conference championship would override that particular aspect. So to me, it would be an argument with an undefeated Notre Dame against a 1-loss conference champion. I think that's where Notre Dame would win the argument. Especially with their their record in the playoffs. It's been a boring game every time Notre Dame has made it. Every stinking time.
Yeah, no, that's true. They've got blown out every time.
Yeah, I know they're a great brand and a big fan base, but the playoffs is all about making money, and they want those eyeballs. And people will be like, we're not watching that Notre Dame. They're just going to get blown out again, and they probably would.
Well, and that's why I think playoffs crying a little bit today with Ohio State losing because they bring eyeballs.
Yeah, they did not like that one at all. They're not happy with Oregon at all. I agree with that 100%.
Ohio State lose that game with the 2 best defensive players for Oregon sitting on the bench injured.
It was their defense.
How do you get beat at home?
It was their defense. Ohio State does not have a good defense this year. They just don't. They do not have a good defense. Their offense is actually pretty good. They pretty much had their way against Oregon. An untimely interception there at the end cost them. But in reality, Ohio State had over 600 offensive yards. They almost beat Oregon on offensive yards by 200 yards. So on that matchup, they actually won the matchup. It's their defense. I mean, they gave up big play after big play after big play. It was unbelievable to watch that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that was pretty bad, their defense.
Yeah.
Now, I did want to ask you one other question.
Okay.
I even do an argument in another group, and I talked to one of the guys in your group.
Okay.
I want to ask you about Blue Blood.
Blue Bloods, okay.
We got a guy who keeps saying that Penn is the Blue Blood. And my argument is, if you haven't won a national championship in 50 years, and you haven't finished in the top 5 in the last 20 years, do you really deserve this Blue Blood status? I mean, I'm thinking Nebraska is a year or 2 away from losing reserves. They had championships tonight.
Yeah, Pitt, I can't 100% say if Pitt ever was a blue blood, but right now they're definitely not a blue blood. Texas, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, I would still say Alabama, USC, I think would still be considered a blue blood. Let me think. Ohio State, Michigan would probably still be a blue blood. I still think, yeah, but Michigan is either still the leader of all-time wins or close to it. Yeah, Michigan's, as much as I hate to say it, Michigan's still blue blood. Yeah, along with Ohio State.
Yeah, Michigan has, I think, a 14-win lead on Alabama right now.
Yeah, that will go away, but right now I would say Michigan is still a blue blood. Penn State. I would lean towards no.
They're good. They're always good, but they haven't been top tier for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, Penn State is probably the right under, like next year. Close, but not.
I think Auburn, you'd have to put Auburn in, they've won a couple national championships.
I wouldn't put them as a blue blood, though. You have to be more consistent.
Put them around Penn State.
Yeah, I agree. There you go. I agree with that. Not quite blue blood, but
I wanted your take on it. I think blue bloods, the title should be taken away if you don't compete over a certain amount of years. Kind of like Indiana and basketball. They really haven't done much since Coach Knight got fired.
Yeah. By the way, Arkansas kneeling it out, 40-21 final.
Yeah, that blows me away.
That's a nasty loss, Texas. Nasty.
But
Oh, they're doing horns down. Oh, the Arkansas player did a horns down. I love it.
Yeah, they were doing that since the third quarter.
I love it. I didn't see that. All right, I officially like Arkansas fans now. Good stuff.
I think Arkansas needs to get back to being good again. They've been down for.
Oh yeah.
Like the Steelers have been there.
Yeah, they've been really bad for a while. Not just a step back. They've been horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to tell people. We need USC back, we need Michigan back, Nebraska, Florida State. We need more teams than, even though I'm a Bama fan, we need more than Bama and Clemson and Ohio State, Oklahoma and Rangers.
They're rushing the field, by the way. Wow. I love it. Yeah,
Well, I guess this is a hell of a way to welcome Texas to the SEC.
yeah, welcome to the SEC. Getting spanked by the second worst team from last year in the SEC West. Good job. Oh, horns down on the Titantron. That is awesome. They did the hook 'em sign and then threw him down on the Titantron. That is awesome. Awesome. Love it. I love Arkansas now.
Now, is that still going to be a penalty in the Big 12 this year?
I don't know. Probably. Well, you know what? Maybe not. They might be just mad. They might be just mad and say, "Nah, you know what? Just have at it, guys. Have at it." Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a good. That's good to bring that up. I like that. Yeah, they might overlook that.
You'll have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is crazy. The entire field is almost full already. Wow.
Did you think they lost hard? Where are they going to finish in the Big 12? Fifth? Sixth?
And once they get over to the SEC, Arkansas was one of the worst teams. I mean, good gosh. And they're going to end up in the West. They're going to take their yearly pounding from Oklahoma, and then they're going to get pounded by, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, now Arkansas. Jeez.
Well,
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M wants to pound them for a while.
Oh, Texas A&M is going to have a field day. A freaking field day.
If Texas gets screwed where they're cross rivals, the cross division games or Florida or Georgia, it could be a long year for them.
Yeah. Everybody's throwing horns down right now. I love it. I love it. Awesome
You know, and
stuff.
a lot of people don't realize this about the SEC is our bad teams can end up beating you. Like if you play Alabama and we physically beat you up, you're sore for the next game. Or if you get beat up
Yes.
by Georgia, that next game you can take a loss.
You don't just get beat by Alabama. You get beat up by Alabama.
Right.
Definitely.
And I don't think Texas realizes, and I don't think Oklahoma's defensive line is quite there yet. You know, the Big 12 doesn't have the physical line that the SEC has.
I agree with that. I think the SEC has size that nobody else has. The Pac-12 and the Big 12 and maybe the ACC to some extent, the Big 10. No, I'll exclude the Big 10. So I'll go Big 12, Pac-12, and ACC to some extent. They have speed and agility. But the Big 10, they have size. But the SEC has size and speed. That's a problem.
Yeah. And that's what kills you when you got that big a size and it's that fast.
Yes.
You know, that's what a lot of teams don't realize. Like I said, you know, Bama beats up on you for 4 quarters, and then next week you go in and play maybe an LSU who's down, but they still got the talent. You're beat up. They get the win on you because you're still feeling from the Bama game or the Georgia game.
Yep. Definitely. Good stuff, man.
And I mean, Texas should be okay because they get a lot of talent, but you know, they're not going to have the talent lead in the SEC like they got in Big 12.
Yep, that's true. I agree with that.
But, well, hey, nice talking to you. I'll let another caller call in, and you have a good night.
You too, man. Call in again on Wednesday.
All right, we'll do.
All right, bud. See you. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Texas gets not just beat, but humiliated and dismantled. So, not good. By the way, Maryland spanking Howard 55-0, so they might be an okay of a team. I don't know. So the big news today. Let's see. Iowa beats Iowa State. Let me check my. Hold on, guys. Let me check my lines real quick. Michigan beating Washington 17-0 now, by the way. Alright, where is the top 25? That's a miss, that Arkansas game. Let's see the Miami App State. Where are we at on that? 25-23. They only beat them by 2. That's a win for Golden Blue Dude. I took the 9 points. And Miami didn't cover, just like I knew they wouldn't. Awesome stuff. So I got that one. Georgia, what happened to the Eastern Michigan? Hold on. Come on. 34-7, so that's, what was the line, 26? Was that a win? No, crap. They won by 27? Dadgummit, I missed it by 1 point. Stupid Eastern Michigan. I think that's right. 17, 27. Yeah. So that's a miss. That's alright though. I'm still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right at 500. So, where's the North Carolina? 45-10. What did I do? Took the 26, 30. That's not going to work out. I'm going to have a really bad week, guys. Dadgummit. I really need that Utah and Stanford game to pan out. Crap. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you just have a bad one, guys. I think this is, I might finish out at 500 this week. And that's not good enough for me. Last year I went 70%. We're having some crazy games going on now. But we'll see. Texas. I'm never betting on you guys again. I don't care about the points or anything. I'm not picking your games anymore. It's not happening. You let me down. It cost me a loss. It's not happening. I ain't doing it anymore. I think that's everything I wanted to get out. How about this, guys? If more madness happens later on, I'll think about jumping back on. Yeah, I'll think about it. But for now, I'm going to get off here, guys. More videos coming tomorrow. Every single day. Haven't missed a video for 14 straight months. Maybe 15 by now. So I'm not going to miss a day. And the next live show is going to be on Wednesday at 9 p.m. So if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers. We went through a big boom. Still going through it. On our way to 4,000. And we have a big goal of 10,000 by the end of the year. So we're going to get to it. Y'all have a good night. If something crazy comes on, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. We'll see.